She could silence a room with one glare. A single performance from her could launch a career or end it. Directors dreaded her temper. Co-stars braced themselves for her sharp tongue. And audiences? They couldn't look away. But behind the unforgettable eyes and the legendary voice was a woman who fought, clawed, and demanded her place in a Hollywood that never wanted her in the first place. Bette Davis wasn't just an actress. She was a storm. And the question still lingers, was she truly one of the greatest actresses of all time? Or did her ruthless willpower simply bend the industry to her favor? Let's dive into the rise, reign, and relentless power of Bette Davis. The early fire. Bette Davis wasn't born into privilege or glamour. She came into the world as Ruth Elizabeth Davis on April 5, 1908, in Lowell, Massachusetts. Her childhood was shaped by hardship. Her parents split apart when she was young, leaving her mother, Ruthie, to raise two daughters alone. But Ruthie wasn't ordinary. She believed her girls were destined for something greater, and she pushed them toward the arts. That relentless encouragement planted a spark in Bette. One night, as a teenager, she sat in the audience of a stage production of Henrik Ibsen's The Wild Duck. The performance struck her like lightning. This wasn't just entertainment, it was truth, emotion, and power. From that moment, she knew she would be an actress. Her mother supported the dream, enrolling her at Cushing Academy, and later sending her to the John Murray Anderson School of Theater in New York City. It was here that Bette learned discipline, precision, and the art of digging deep into her characters. Unlike many aspiring actresses who dreamed of fame, she craved transformation. But no amount of training could prepare her for what Hollywood would throw at her, because the industry she was about to enter wasn't designed for someone like her. Rejection in Hollywood. When Bette Davis arrived in Los Angeles in 1930, the studios barely knew what to do with her. She didn't fit the mold. She wasn't soft, glamorous, or conventionally beautiful. Instead, she had intensity, an energy that unsettled executives who were used to polished smiles and perfect curls. Her very first screen test was a disaster. Poor lighting, bad makeup, and clumsy staging nearly convinced Universal Studios to ship her straight back to New York. Even her own mother admitted she was worried they had made a mistake. But Bette refused to break. She scraped her way through bit parts in films like Bad Sister in 1931 and Seed. She was cast in forgettable roles, overshadowed by studio favorites. And yet, even in those small moments, critics started to notice something different. A rawness, an intensity. Then came the turning point of Human Bondage. In 1934, she took on the role of Mildred Rogers, a vulgar, manipulative waitress. Hardly the glamorous parts actresses fought for, but Bette threw herself into it, stripping away vanity. She made the character ugly, desperate, and painfully real. Audiences were stunned. Critics erupted with praise, demanding she be nominated for an Academy Award, even though the studio hadn't even submitted her. It was the performance that forced Hollywood to look at her differently. But fame didn't come without enemies. A star who fought back. After Of Human Bondage, Bette Davis was no longer a background actress, she was a force. In 1935, she won her first Academy Award for Dangerous. The industry was now paying attention. But Bette wasn't about to settle into being Hollywood's darling. She wanted control. She wanted roles that mattered, not the safe, pretty parts the studio kept pushing. When Warner Brothers tried to force her into weak roles, she fought back hard. At one point, in the late 1930s, she even walked out on her contract and sailed to England, demanding better scripts and more respect. The studio sued her. She lost in court, but her bold rebellion forever changed her image. Bette Davis wasn't just another actress. She was the actress who dared to defy the system. Her persistence paid off. The very roles she fought for turned into some of the greatest performances of her era. The roles that defined her. Bette Davis was fearless in choosing characters. She didn't care if audiences hated them, she wanted them to believe them. In Jezebel, 1938, she played Julie Marsden, a headstrong Southern belle who defies society. The role was fiery, manipulative, and unflattering, but Bette made her unforgettable. The performance earned her an Academy Award. In Dark Victory, 1939, she played Judith Traherne, a socialite grappling with a terminal illness. The role demanded fragility and strength, and Bette balanced both with heartbreaking authenticity. Audiences left theaters in tears. In Now, Voyager, 1942, she transformed from a timid, repressed woman into someone radiant with confidence. The famous line, "Oh, Jerry, don't let's ask for the moon. We have the stars," was delivered with such sincerity, it remains one of cinema's most quoted moments. And then came All About Eve, in 1950, as Margot Channing, the aging Broadway star with sharp wit and deep insecurity. Bette delivered perhaps her greatest performance. Her biting delivery of "Fasten your seatbelts, it's going to be a bumpy night" became iconic. These weren't just roles, they were statements. Proof that she could embody women who were bold, broken, manipulative, or fragile, and make every one of them unforgettable. But that same fearlessness that made her brilliant on screen made her dangerous off it. Fear and rivalry. By the 1940s and 50s, Bette Davis wasn't just respected, she was feared. Directors whispered about her demands. Co-stars admitted they were intimidated by her presence. She had a reputation for steamrolling anyone who wasn't as prepared as she was. And then there was Joan Crawford. Their rivalry is still one of Hollywood's most infamous feuds. On the set of Whatever Happened to Baby Jane in 1962, the two women turned the film into a battlefield. Bette allegedly filled her pockets with rocks before a fight scene so her blows would land harder. Joan, in turn, reportedly sabotaged scenes, even slipping weights under her costume so Bette would struggle to lift her. The hostility spilled into the press, with barbed comments and cutting insults. Audiences ate it up. The feud became almost as legendary as their performances. But feuds and scandals aside, there was something deeper about Bette Davis that unsettled Hollywood: her refusal to fade away. Reinvention and survival. Hollywood has never been kind to women who age, and by the 1950s, most actresses of Bette's generation were being pushed aside for younger stars. But Bette Davis was different. She reinvented herself. She took on roles that embraced her age, her flaws, even her bitterness. She wasn't afraid to be seen as harsh or unlikable if it meant the character was real. In The Star, 1952, she played an actress past her prime, clinging desperately to her career. Audiences saw the raw parallels to her own life. In Baby Jane, she went further, embracing grotesque makeup and mannerisms to play a washed-up child star. She shocked audiences yet again, proving she was still fearless. Even as her health declined in later years, she kept working. She appeared in television, in smaller films, and never stopped demanding the spotlight. She wasn't chasing fame anymore, she was defending a legacy. And that legacy was complicated. The legacy of a fighter. So, how good was Bette Davis really? Her supporters argue she was unmatched. No one else of her time embodied such a wide range of complex women with the same depth and truth. Her eyes alone could tell a story. Her voice was unmistakable, cutting, sarcastic, or devastatingly tender. And her willingness to play characters other actresses turned down gave Hollywood some of its boldest female roles. But her critics? They saw someone who was too controlling, too difficult, too dramatic. Some co-stars said working with her was a nightmare. Studios accused her of arrogance. And detractors argued her larger-than-life style sometimes bordered on theatrical excess. Maybe both sides are right. Because what made Bette Davis unforgettable was exactly what made her controversial. She was uncompromising. She demanded excellence from herself, from others, and from the industry that tried to mold her into something she wasn't. Conclusion: rewriting Hollywood's rules. Bette Davis didn't just star in films. She rewrote the rules of what a leading lady could be. She proved women could be powerful, messy, manipulative, fragile, or all of the above, and still command the screen. She fought battles most actresses never dared to, and though it earned her enemies, it also won her immortality. So, was she truly one of the greatest actresses of all time? Or was she simply relentless enough to make us believe she was? Maybe the answer lies in this. Decades after her final bow, we're still asking the question,